Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you just narrowly escaped a bad situation? Whether this was with a second shooter, whether this was a client, whether you almost lost a piece of equipment, maybe you almost broke something. If you can relate at all to those statements, I think you need to stick around and watch this video. So I'm not generally the kind of person that likes to deal with negativity, that likes to talk about worst case scenarios, but I think it's very important as a photographer, as a business owner, to understand what could happen if things don't go our way. Today in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 ways that you can protect yourself as a photographer, because bad things can happen and they very well may in the future. So we need to put these things in place in our businesses to make sure that we are protected when that something just goes wrong. So my first recommendation to you is to get insurance over your equipment for your business, for all of your camera gear. Yes, I know this can look like an unnecessary expense, especially right at the beginning of our business when expenses seem to be frequent because we're purchasing new equipment, maybe new computers, new technology, but also we don't feel like we're getting enough money. Maybe we're not making enough since we are brand new, we don't have as big of a portfolio. It's very important that you have safety of insurance just in case you drop a camera or drop a lens, or somebody picks up your bag and walks away with it, or you spill your coffee on your computer. I mean, anything could happen. My second recommendation for you is to use contracts with anybody that you're working with in your business. So whether this is a client for a wedding, a client for portraiture, even if it's just a second shooter that's coming on for a one-day contract, have a contract with them. I cannot tell you enough how helpful this is to communicate effectively with your clients. If there were ever any legal action in a particular client situation that had to go to court, this contract is really what is determining what that client will get, or the terms of that agreement. Now, I don't recommend that you write your own. I definitely would recommend that you go and talk to a lawyer about what you need in your contract and if they have any suggestions about terminology and anything that you need to have listed in there, but make sure that there is a contract. My third recommendation for you is to get backup equipment and definitely have backup camera cards for your images. Backup everything. This is something I've said from the beginning and I will say it until the cows come home. I always carry 3 cameras with me on the wedding day. I carry 2 cameras that I'm actively using, and I do have 1 backup camera that I carry with me as well. I would hate for any of you to be in a situation where you drop your camera, something malfunctions, your battery's dying, or something gets stuck in your camera, whatever the case is, a button gets stuck. Lord have mercy, there are so many things that can go wrong with technology. We all know this. Piggybacking on that, it's important to have backup images. This is something that I do regularly while photographing a wedding. I have 2 camera card slots in my camera, so it's automatically reading to 2 different cards. This ensures that if one of my camera cards is corrupt, I'm automatically getting the files on a separate camera card. Additionally though, when I get home, I also do copy those onto my computer to make sure that I have those copied in another location. These are once-in-a-lifetime moments, regardless of whether it's a portrait session or whether it is an event. Back up your images and have backup equipment. My fourth recommendation for you is to have a second shooter on the wedding day, or to have a backup photographer already lined up. I've had friends that have had health issues, that have had pregnancies while being wedding photographers or event photographers. And what usually happens is they will bring along another photographer. Maybe if they're far along in their pregnancy or they're having some sort of illness where they just have some days that are a little bit worse than others, they will bring other photographers there to make sure that if they need to take a break, there's somebody that can keep going. So having a second photographer there on the wedding day ensures that somebody's taking photos at all times. My fifth recommendation is basically pretty simple, but this is the reason why I'm making the video. Do not take risks. Yes, it sounds very easy, but sometimes, unfortunately, we get lazy. I feel like I have excellent business practices and routines when it comes to my safety, the safety of my equipment, and the safety of my livelihood when I go out and I photograph. But yesterday, something happened to me, and this is, again, why I wanted to make this video. I was photographing in downtown Chicago, and I completely forgot that I had a bag in my back seat with some items in it. While I was at my photo shoot, somebody broke through my window, stole the bag, and all of the contents of the bag. So it's extremely important to be vigilant, to not forget that there are bad people in this world that are looking for you to slip up. And unfortunately, as photographers, we're carrying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of equipment on our bodies, on our persons, as we're doing photo shoots, as we're going out and doing weddings, as we're doing events. It can happen anywhere. It's important that we put things in place to make sure that we do have coverage. So if we do have a loss like this, I can contact my insurance company. If we did have a bad situation, I can refer back to my contract. All of these things we put in place to make sure that we don't have to close shop entirely on our business and go bankrupt or just have any kind of situation. So I hope these tips help you guys. I would love to hear down below if you have any thoughts or experiences, anything like this has ever happened to you. I'm sorry if it has, but I think it's important to talk about just so we're all aware that these kind of things do happen, that you can recover from them, but it's important to have things in place to make sure that we are totally prepared if something were to go wrong. Like this video if you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.